Thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, like-minded friends, I think, here around. I see all like-minded. No doubt we can't preach each other about problems with food waste, of course. But, you know, now I am thinking about European Union. You know. We have in European Union 500 million inhabitants. It means we have 500 million experts speaking about food waste. And as you know, last year in the EU, we have more or less about 109 million people were at risk of poverty or social exclusion. Of course, we all understand that EU is a continent with rich countries, but sorry to say, 109 millions are in poverty, and 36 millions couldn't afford a meal containing a quality protein source every second day. And in this case, we are wasting, last year, 88 million tons food. Can you imagine? 88 million tons. It means that we need to speak about societal shift in situation. Absolutely no doubt, societal shift. We know very well that the notion of food waste is part of the religious message of Christianity, and of course of all religious communities around the world. It's very common, thousands of years. And I personally remember my young days. I was born in Stalin Gulag, and at that time I tasted potato when I was only 6 years old. I have no understanding about. In my daily life was 143 grams of bread. It was normal. And my mom told me, don't waste, don't waste. And it was, till now, I think it is so deeply in heart. And when I listen to the Pope Francis, when he speaks, waste food means waste people, for misunderstanding. But what was happening, what is in changes that now in the EU, in a rich community, rich countries, we are wasting 88 million tons of food. It means that we need to understand. We see scandal, environmental scandal, behavioral scandal, economic scandal, social scandal, moral scandal, and political scandal. And politically, we can tell each other why food waste lies only on NGOs' shoulders. But okay, we need to understand how can we encourage member states, governments, parliaments, local communities to understand what does it mean. You know, it is a very challenging issue. And of course, in EU, we take very seriously at EU level issues about speaking about food waste. Food waste prevention is a core part of our circular economy action plan, and since 2016 we have made initial but significant progress. And the future Commission has already indicated it will to put a new ambitious Green Deal at the center of this priority, and food waste will be included into new Green Deal, no doubts. I would like to dedicate a few words to the achievements of these last 5 years, achievements which I hope will create a model approach to the fight against food waste. But when I'm speaking about EU level, about achievements, I know that I am thinking about everyday's business of consumers level in our kitchens, in our, at that level. And I see we need to understand we have in our hands new waste legislation. It defines food waste and includes for the first time, and I want to underline, first time, specific measures to address it as part of broader EU waste policy. But it is at EU level, but not at speaking about understanding of people about food waste. Of course, it requires all EU countries to reduce food waste at each stage in the supply chain and monitor and report the waste level. And of course, we need to have methodology in our hands. And now we have also developed a common methodology to measure food waste everywhere and across all stages of the food chain, thus ensuring consistent data across the EU. These actions represent a unique at global level and will give us a clear evidence base to know exactly how much food is wasted and where, thus helping us build effective prevention strategies in the future. At the same time, we have taken steps to improve cooperation on food waste across the whole food and supply chain, because we believe that only a fully integrated approach can lead to real progress on the ground. For this reason, in 2016, we launched the European Union platform on food losses and food waste. Thus, this forum brings together all key actors across the supply chain and public and private sectors to catalyze actions at EU level. Member states, local communities, farmers, food producers, retailers, and so on and so on. We all are part of such platform. It encourages information and knowledge exchange and transfer for experience and successful models across the EU. The European Commission has assessed various actions to prevent food waste in EU countries. In December, the platform will publish its key recommendations for actions, and these will be presented in a public European conference, which will be held on 12th of December in Finland. It will cover all stages of the supply chain and involve key players from both the private and public sector. It will include cross-cutting actions to facilitate and help scale up efforts across the EU. We are also implementing digital technology and networks to ensure the results of these initiatives are shared quickly. This will support common progress towards the global food waste targets. Another focus area has been food donation. And I want to start here by praising the incredible daily work done in this area by food banks. And I see here in our audience our president of our food bank. And I can tell you, food banks in Europe are doing everyday business in very, controversial environments, not so easy, I think, that you can express your views. Surplus food that is safe should be made available for human consumption and as a priority to people in need. On World Food Day 2017, the European Commission adopted EU guidelines to support safe food donation in EU countries. They clarify how relevant EU rules apply to food donation and promote common interpretation by regulatory authorities. We now have a 3-year pilot project underway to promote awareness and update of the guidelines with close cooperation from the EU platform on food waste. The new EU waste rules also encourages member states to promote food donation, including with fiscal incentives. Another area where we are exploring this now that time is running, is food which can be given to feeding animals. And of course, we in 2018, we adopted EU guidelines on use of so-called formal foodstuff to feed animals. And of course, especially difficult issue is date marking. But here is problems about awareness, and we can solve it. And we can propose our report on it. And finally, I think the strategic approach of EU on research is also known very well. But let me conclude saying that I think now it's time to act together globally. And it will be very good to organize, for example, next year, a global summit on food waste, inviting WHO, inviting FAO, Animal Health Organization, and others, and European Union, and to organize something more, because we need to be more vocal, and we need to really solve problems with societal shift. Thank you.